I need to be stopped. No one is here to stop me though. Okay, this has gone very dramatic very quickly. It would be a crime if I didn't put that on the inner corner. Hello beautiful makeup lovers and welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to be finally diving into my two new Wenzdae palettes. I've had these for a little while now, but I've been so busy filming with other things. But today is the turn of the Stone and Rock palette and the Jewels and Gem palette from Wenzdae. Beautiful Swedish indie brand. I've got a lot of Wenzdae eyeshadows and I'm excited to dive into these two palettes. These are not limited edition, which is great because sometimes Wenzdae do come out with limited edition releases and it's really hard to get hold of them and they sell out pretty quickly and then people wish they were still around. Now these are more predominantly neutral leaning palettes for Wenzdae, which will make a lot of people happy because Wenzdae usually stick to a lot of colour. But having said that they're neutral, I think both of these palettes are right up my street because they've got enough colour in them and enough ways that you can go dramatic with your eyeshadow that I still needed them in my collection. So I'm going to show you some close-ups and swatches. So the first palette that I want to talk about and use for you right now, because you're going to be seeing two looks in this video, is the Stone and Rock palette. I wanted to start out with this one because it's my favourite because it's got greens in it. And as you will have seen from the close-ups and swatches, it is absolutely stunning. Yeah, it's neutrally with greens. And I think the whole concept of this with the Stone and Rock and the Jewels and Gem, I like that a lot. The packaging is always stunning from Wenzdae as well. It's one of my favourite packagings. Now I haven't actually swatched this when I'm filming this part, but even just looking at the shimmers, I can see that we've got different types of shimmers just from the texture, how they look in the pan. Some are more sparkly, some look like they're going to be a little bit more flaky. Oh, some look a little bit, that might be a toppery shade, that could be cute to use today. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but we've got light, we've got a white in this, and a black. And greens. Okay, tick, 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 tick. Now, if you purchase from Wenzdae, you shouldn't get customs because they do ship from China, even though they are a Swedish brand themselves. And all of the stuff that I'm using in this video will be linked in the description box, including this Natasha Denona eye base. And if you didn't know, Natasha Denona gave me a discount code, which still, I don't believe, and it blows my mind, but... So like I say, I'm really happy with this palette, just looking at it before I've even dived into it. The colour story is so beautiful. If I was going to do my own neutral palette, you know it's going to be looking like this because it's got green. And the fact that we've got a matte white and a matte black, yes, absolutely. The shimmers look insane. Have we got a equal matte to shimmer ratio? I think there's one extra matte. This palette looks absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to dive in and I think I want to start with, what look am I doing today? I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan and I've actually got a little bit of a headache. So this might not be the most intricate look you've ever seen. I think I want to start out with the shade Madness because it is a gorgeous lighter green and I think I just want to pop that basically all through the crease. I think that's what I want to do. It's a very grungy sort of mushy pea green and I'm here for it. Oh, the mattes from Wenzdae are beautiful quality. I've never had really any issues with the mattes from Wenzdae. I know a few people don't like the shimmer formula because they say they hard pan easily. I have had that myself on a few of the shades in some of the palettes. So I know there are some people out there that aren't as keen on the shimmer formula, and I can kind of see why, just having a few of those experiences myself. But all in all, I think it's a good formula and quality on the whole. They did also release some jewellery with this collection, quite a lot of jewellery, and if you wanted to buy the 2 palettes and the jewellery, the whole lot, it was at a reduced rate, but still quite expensive because there was quite a number of pieces of jewellery, and I didn't pick any of the jewellery up just because it is not my style of jewellery at all. It's very, what's the word? It's very bold. I like more delicate pieces of jewellery. I'm not really into sort of the chunkiness and boldness that they chose, but I know a lot of people will be absolutely loving those pieces. I'm hoping that if they do come out with more jewellery in the future, that they will come out with something a little bit more subtle, a little bit more my sort of style and what I like in jewellery. But I'm happy to see that the brand is branching out into different things. That makes me very happy. And then I am just going to dip into a little bit of the white called Fervor. The matte white. I'm going to go into just the tiniest bit of that just to blend out the green that we've got going on. I'm not using this as like, you're not going to notice that there's a white up here necessarily. I just wanted to use it because I love a matte white. Okay, then I think I'm going to go into the shade Exuberance, which is this deeper matte green here. And I think I kind of want to put it in the inner and outer corner and start on a kind of halo eye type of look, just because I did one the other day and I really actually enjoyed it. I don't do a lot of halo eyes, but let's see how buildable this formula is as well, because I usually like to start out with my deepest shade. It's not that often that I start out with a lighter shade. But that shade is packing on nicely and building. I don't think I'm going to have any issues between these 2 shades. Just blending out the eyeshadow and hearing my cat chomp on his food in the background, that's fun. Okay, I'm going to clean that brush off and then I want to go into an even deeper shade. Now, which one do I want to use? Do I want to use the black? Do I want to use a green? I think I might use the shade Chia, which is this deeper green here. And just keep that in the very outer and inner corner, just for that extra bit of depth I'm looking for this halo eye. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Thank you very much. And again, building beautifully on top of each other. Absolutely beautifully. I don't know whether to go into the matte white for the inner corner. I'm feeling like, because I keep thinking about it, maybe I should just do it. Because I don't always go in with a light inner corner when I'm doing a halo eye, but I'm going to press this on top of the green that's already there. Yeah, I think that is a very good matte white. And that is on top of the green, so I didn't know how opaque it was going to be, but I mean, that's impressive. Now comes the hard part, deciding on a shimmer, because they all look stunning and I don't think there's... Okay, maybe there's one I'm disappointed with the shade because it's more of a brownie shade, but I can forgive them of that. What should we use? High Spirits looks... Holy macaroni. It's also giving me blue and purple, but on the camera I can see green. I think that one's a multi-chrome. Cheerfulness looks a little bit more sparkly. Ooh, that's pretty. There's Passion. Frenzy. Ooh. It's gonna be that one, isn't it? It's gonna be High Spirits. Can't get over that. Can't get over that. I can always lighten up the very centre with something else, but I just need this shade on my lid right now. Hopefully I will pick up in the swatches just how reflective and different this is, because I can definitely see blue and purple in this. as well as green, and it looks amazing when I had it on my finger. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that shift on the eye. Then down the very centre, I think I'm going to put Frenzy, which was the light white shimmery sparkly shade. And I just want to top it just a little bit in the very centre, just to add a little bit more sparkle and brightness. Should I just go in with my finger instead of gingerly going in with my brush? Ooh. Maybe even a little bit of cheerfulness. I'm just going in with all the shimmers now. This is intense. I need to be stopped. No one is here to stop me though. Just gonna go over the edges with the mattes that I used in this look, and I'm thinking maybe I'll go over the inner corner with a shimmer as well. Now that I've actually tested that matte white, maybe a shimmer on top could be cute. Going into that white shimmery shade again called Frenzy and just popping that on the top of the matte white. And I'm looking at this look and thinking I want even more depth now, so I'm thinking I might go into a little bit of the black in the outer corner. So the black is called Passage, and I just want to deepen it up. I have fallout from this black. Ooh. Ooh. Help me. Send help. Ah! Okay. That did not work. That did help. Help! Oh, I've got it on my nose. I've now got black fallout on. Right, I'm going to have to sort that out afterwards now because there's that much of it. That black has got fallout. Just be careful, guys. Be very, very careful. Okay, let me jump off and finish this look and sort out the fallout, if I can, and we'll come back and see how it looks. So guys, that fallout was really difficult to remove, I'm not gonna lie. That was some of the worst fallout I've ever had with that black. So do be wary if you're gonna be using this palette, maybe do your eyes first. I definitely will in the future if I'm planning to use this black, because that was all over and I couldn't actually really get rid of it properly. I mean, I don't know if you can still see little speckles on my face. I tried my very best to remove it, but I think the quality of the shades that I have tried today, absolutely beautiful, spectacular. I don't look like I'm getting any hard pan in the two shimmers that I've used. I'll see what's going on because I do need to swatch this palette, and if I do seem to be getting any hard pan in any shade for any reason, I will either let you know in the video or down in a pinned comment below, because I know that's what puts some people off from buying from ODENS. So I want to let you know if I experience that, but I love the way that the look came out. I like the fact that I can still use a neutral leaning palette and make it very, very dramatic. Dramatic and bold makeup is what I am all about. Like, I very rarely go for subtle. Very rarely. Now, of course, you can stick to the more neutral leaning tones, but even they have sort of like a nice undertone to them. Even this brown, I was really impressed with the matte white. I think if that hadn't have been on top of the green as well, that would have been even more popping, and on a white base underneath, that matte white looked beautiful. Yeah, the black, really, really good black, pigmented. Just the fallout was the issue with that one. And I built and built and built quite a few shades on top of each other in the outer corner. No patchiness, no weird stuff going on. It built beautifully and still blended out. So I think the quality of the mattes that I've been using, 10 out of 10. The shimmers are spectacular. This High Spirits, I don't think you can see on camera just how special it is. In person, when you've got it on your finger, like, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to show you when it's on my finger. Let's see. Don't know if you can see that there's also blue and purple in this. I might just be like wiggling my finger at you and you're like, no, Kerry, it still looks green. I promise you it's absolutely beautiful. That is probably the standout shade for me so far without trying the rest of the shades in this palette, but please do let me know what you think to this look, and are you picking up this palette? Now let's dive into the next one, Jules and Gem. So on to the next palette. I'm excited to dive into this one, even though this is not my favourite out of the two, and it's not typically a colour story that I would be like, ooh, that's super interesting to me, but when ODENS do it, like the packaging, the whole aesthetic of it all, and the way that these look in the pan, especially the shimmers, I am actually excited for this. And we do have some gorgeous depth in here. We have a really nice light pastel leaning purpley shade. It's like a lilac pastel but super light. So that is really nice to see. That is going to be tempting for my inner corner, isn't it? I loved yesterday's look, by the way, and it wore beautifully throughout the day, but I will say that green shimmer just in my very crease, just the tiniest little bit, it didn't break up necessarily, it just sort of wore away a tiny bit, I noticed before I took my makeup off, just to the very end of the day. I think I'm going to start out with the shade Rapture, which is this one here, and it looks a little bit bluey. I don't really necessarily have, oh my goodness, the fallout in the pan just from tapping in once, literally. Okay, I don't want to repeat of yesterday. Let me just tap off my brush a lot. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a shade with so much kick up just from one tiny tap in the pan. That was insane. Yeah, maybe I should have learnt from yesterday and actually started with my eyes before my base, but obviously I didn't learn. This is a much more cool toned palette, and I mean, on the whole, I prefer a warm tone look, but we're gonna make these cool tones work today, she says. I mean, I've already put on much more of that shade than I was originally anticipating. Then I think I want to go into the shade called Elation, which is this sort of mauvey pinky tone here. And I want to connect that up to what we've got going on. I have brought that in, the previous shade in, a bit more than I was planning to do. But we're just going to roll with it. And then, like I said, for the inner corner, I want to use the shade Ecstasy because it is a beautiful pastel matte. And if there's anything I love, again, a lot of kick up in the pan. I love a pastel matte for an inner corner. Don't know how well this is going to show up on my skin tone, but it's going in there. And I'm just going to use it to blend out a little bit of that previous shade as well and just bring it up a little bit higher. Then I'm thinking I want to use a little bit of the shade called Transition, which is a lighter blue, and I want to use that to blend out that sort of dark blue area that we had at the beginning. Is this still going to be super dark of a shade though to do that with? Yeah, maybe. I'm just going to use that Ecstasy, that light pastel shade, just to blend out the very edges of this a tad, just so it doesn't look too harsh. Then we'll go back in with a bit of Rapture so we're not losing the intensity of that blue. Okay, this has gone very dramatic very quickly. I thought I was going to be doing a nice subtle, neutrally toned look today. Obviously not. And then I think I want to go in the very outer corner with Intoxication, which is a lovely deep purple. Absolutely stunning shade. Let me just clean my brush off a little bit first, and we'll go into that, and I just want to pop that in the outer corner and see if we can actually build up the depth even more here. There's definitely a difference, isn't there? That's a little bit deeper in the very outer corner. Yes. Then taking a little bit more of Elation, which was the mauvey tone, the mauvey pink, and I'm just gonna run that on the lower lash line to connect the gap. And I feel like these are very grungy, cool tones, especially the way that I've paired them together. This is actually a predominantly deep palette, which you wouldn't necessarily think just to look at it straight off the bat, but a lot of the matte tones are on the deeper side. I will finesse the blending at the end, but I am going to go in with some of the shimmers now because I can't not, and they all look stunning, but I don't know which one to go with. I feel like I want something light and bright because we've got such deep dark mattes, so I'm not going to go for this one, which is called Paradise, which is quite deep. I feel like I could do that toward the outer corner just to bridge the matte and the shimmer gap that's going to be out there, but what are we thinking for the lid? Do we want to lean more purple or pink? Ooh, that could be cute. That's pretty. Oh wow, Swoon is a pink shift, so that's definitely at least a duochrome. Oh, I feel like that's got to go on the inner corner. It would be a crime if I didn't put that on the inner corner. Then maybe we could go into this purple, which is called, what is this called? Exhilaration. Okay, that is the plan. That is the plan. The plan has been formed. Okay, so I picked up that swoon shade on a brush and I have sprayed it. And I want to put this on the inner corner. Yes, that is a gorgeous iridescent pink, white, shifty shade. And it will just transform depending on what matte you put it on top of. But I love a topper like this. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Then I think, actually, before I go into the purple, I'm going to go into, what is this called? Elatedness, the pink one, the pink shifty shimmer. Just a little bit of that, just a tad. And then we're going to go into that gorgeous purple. Again, I've sprayed it. And we're just going to pop it. Actually, that translates a lot more white slash silver. That's less pink than the swoon shade. I'm not sure I want that. I think I'm going to go back into swoon and just cover that up. Okay. Okay, chunk, help, help. Yeah, I would definitely recommend spraying these shimmers unless you want fallout and chunkiness going on. But I definitely think swoon is a lot more pink than the pink shimmer. And I'm not trying to be precise. I don't want a cut crease. I want it to look more naturally dispersed out into that matte. Then I'm going to take Exhilaration, which is the purple, on my finger just because it's easier sometimes. Look at how delicious that is. And just pop it all over the rest of the lid. I'm sorry, but those shimmers look insanely beautiful. And I'm thinking I might pop a little bit of Exhilaration just on the lower lash line. Just a tad. Just to tie in with everything that's going on above. And I think that's more or less going to be it for the eyeshadow, guys. So let me jump off and finish this up. We'll see what it looks like, what lip I'm going to pair it with. And then we'll discuss both palettes. We are done. Gems happened, little stars under the eyes happened, water activated liner happened. I started with a water activated liner and I'm not gonna lie, I sort of then thought, ooh, gems, and then sort of couldn't stop. But I'm really pleased with how it's come out. The shimmers on the lid are my favourite part of this. That pink leading into that purple looks divine. The water activated liner palette I used is from Arttitude Cosmetics. I did get gifted this in PR, but I reach for this all the time and I used this nice lilac shade. I will link it down below, and I do have a code with Arttitude if you want to pick anything up from them. And the lip that I use, which I thought would pair perfectly with this, is from Mystic Maker. And I also did get this gifted in PR, and I will link this down below if you want to check out the different colours that they have. But I just feel like it matches it perfectly. And in the waterline, I went in with my Mitchell and P. Louise Acid Rain paint in Ibiza. I'm not sure you can get hold of this anymore. I think P. Louise has redone all of the different cosmetic paints, so she might have a shade similar to this, but not this specific one. So if it's not linked, that will be why. I actually think I prefer this to yesterday's look, which I was not expecting. Like, a green look will always pull me in every single time. A green palette like the Stone and Rock. Let me take it back out of its sleeve. Like, obviously this is more my cup of tea, but actually looking at both looks, I think I actually prefer this one. Like, I love how this came out. It's very dramatic, which is what I like. It's bold. The shimmers are spectacularly beautiful, especially this swoon shade that is very, very pink shifty. It's so flipping special. Like, ODENS, I do these types of shades really well, especially when it's like a white to a pink. I can see all the different reflex in there as well. Hopefully you'll see it when I do the swatches. You'll have already seen the swatches. I just haven't filmed them yet. I don't look like I'm getting any hard pan in anything. Everything looks to be working beautifully. The only thing that I will say, let me just wipe this finger off before I get deliciousness everywhere. The only thing I will say about these palettes is the mattes have a lot of kick up in the pan and a lot of fallout on the face, especially the deeper of the mattes, and that is not what you want when you're doing your makeup. So I would really recommend you to do your eyes first before your base makeup. And I don't often recommend that with a lot of palettes, but these ones absolutely 1,000,000% would recommend that. Please do let me know which look is your favourite and which palette is your favourite. Have you only picked up one? Have you picked up both? I'd love to know. Do you avoid picking anything up from Wenzdae because you've had hard pan issues, things like that? Do let me know so we can have a chat about it in the comments. But yeah, I really thought this was going to be my favourite. I mean, it's still my favourite palette of the two, but I thought I was going to prefer the look that I did with this one. And don't get me wrong, I loved that look, but there's just something about this one and the way that it's come together. For me though, I will say I think this one is a little bit better of a colour story, just because not only the green tones, but we have a matte white and we have a lighter green. And in the Jewels and Gem palette, we do have that light matte that I used, but all of the other mattes, there isn't sort of another light slash sort of mid-tone. They're all kind of on the deeper grungy side. So I just feel like for that reason, I prefer this one as well. I mean, it just depends which tones you like better. I can't even get this open. It depends which tones you like better. Do you need both? Do you need either? Not if you've already got these shades in your collection, but I will say I'm impressed with the quality. I just need to remember to do my eyes before my base with these. Apart from that, I am so impressed with these. These are fantastic quality, very pigmented, blendable, buildable. The shimmers are shifty and delicious. I haven't used every single shade in both palettes, so I will definitely continue to use these and come back and do a speed review for you when I have tested more or less every single shade and use them quite a few more times, because this is just a first impressions. I have used as many shades as I possibly can to try and create a somewhat cohesive look, but from what I've tried, I really like them, which I suspected I would because generally I do like ODENS formula. Thank you for checking out this video, guys. If you could leave me a thumbs up, that would make me super duper happy. Hopefully you will stick around and subscribe because I've got a lot of content coming your way. I have so much to film and so little time to film it in. I've got the Glamlight Scooby-Doo collection, and I've also just got in my Nomad Cosmetics new palette that I'm going to compare with the Natasha Denona Yucca. So if you're interested in that, please do subscribe. I will link all of my socials down below, as well as my Patreon and YouTube membership, and hopefully guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!